Welcome to the Brady Bunch of Autism, your source for family, parenting, and all things autism and special needs. Created by our family for your family. Live from the Ed Asner Family Center. And now your hosts, Nava and Matt Asner.
Good afternoon. This is another episode of Ed Talks, and we are here today to talk about something really cool and interesting. It's the world of voiceovers.
Is this our second Ed Talk or
this is our third?
Oh wow! Okay,
this is our third. So we have an incredible group of people that we're going to talk to about diversity in the world of voiceovers and voiceovers in general. How do you get work as a voice actor? How does it take place? This is a public service announcement for voiceover actors, basically. So why don't we kind of run through our introductions? Yeah. You want to start there?
Well, why don't we start with these lovely ladies who are next to us, to the right of us, and our familia. I mean, these are our girls. But I'd first like to introduce Spencer Hart. And hello, Spencer Hart. Welcome to the third Ed Talk.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
And this is Spencer's beautiful mommy, Jill Creeder Hart.
Hi, glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
And we definitely wanted Spencer on. She's an amazing actress in her own right. She is very interested in voiceover. So I really felt like Spencer would be a perfect kind of all-around person to be our autistic self-advocate for the panel today. And
we have another autistic self-advocate and another great actor in Dominique Brown. And Dominique,
coming to us by Zoom.
I think you need to turn on. There it is. There's Dominique.
There he is.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hey, Dom.
We can hear you. Happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Dominique and Spencer have both been in the show Atypical, among many others. Spencer has just done a short in New York.
Yes, I did.
That she was the star of.
A short film.
Mm-hmm. And she's working on a voiceover reel. So we'll get more about that in a minute. Dominique, you're in the new season of Atypical.
Absolutely.
And you are a musician as well. And we're always seeing your work on YouTube. Anything else that you want to talk about that you're doing that you want the world to know about?
Well, I recently appeared in my uncle's music video. And that should be coming out real soon. And I've also been releasing some TikToks, and yeah.
All right.
Have you seen Dom's TikToks?
I have seen Dom's
really
TikToks.
Great.
Actually, I have I do dog TikToks every now and then. So
you're gonna have to explain that.
I do. We have a dog, and I do dog TikToks every now and then, and it's kind of fun, and I don't know, it's something I do. But Dominique did a what do you call it, a stitch or something like that with mine?
A duet.
A duet. He did a duet with the bulldog. No, with the bulldog. So okay. So Dominique, great to see you. Great to have you here. We got lots of questions, so I'm just going to get through the introductions real quick. From Disney, we have two people from Disney, wonderful casting directors from Disney who are our guests today, who are going to talk to us about diversity and how Disney is actually really working towards bringing autistic people into their fold and giving them jobs. And we want to hear about that. So we have Colleen O'Donnell and Jennifer Trujillo from Disney.
Welcome, girl.
How are you guys?
Welcome.
Thank you. Yes. Thanks for having us. I'm doing well.
So excited.
That's my first question. So we're gonna come back to you. But first I'm gonna introduce Phil LaMarr. And really, Phil LaMarr needs no introduction. Phil is pretty much the voiceover artist to beat, I think, right? He's the guy in everything. You're in like all the wonderful DC stuff. You're in you're in Rick and Morty. I think Rick and Morty. You're in Rick and Morty.
Right.
What else is he in?
He's also in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, Phil, we got a lot of people who wrote in and wanted to know about working in the voiceover industry and preparing and all that. So we've got lots of questions that we're going to throw your way. And I can't thank you enough for being here.
My pleasure.
So we're going to get started with the first question, which actually is for Jennifer and Colleen. And it's actually from a guy named Matt and a gal named Nava. And we actually just think it would be a great way to start the show to kind of talk about your dedication to diversity in Disney and in what's happening, and talk to us about what that looks like. What are you looking for? What's the mandate?
Gosh, yes, that's a big question. I think we've just realized in recent years that we've been working very hard to create casts that look and sound like the world around us, and we've been working really hard specifically with actors with autism and all neurodiversity to make sure that that's specifically represented in our casts. And we've really turned up our efforts in the last year by meeting and working with organizations like this and with other organizations, and just making sure that we are reading folks from the autism community on every single one of our projects and every role, so that we can reach equity.
That's exciting.
Now, you just said something that I think is really important, and that is, and I always key into this. Sorry, Jill, I always do. But I always key into this because I think they're not autistic actors, they're actors. And each person is different, each person is unusual, and I think that's a wonderful thing that you just said. So you're treating each person as an individual, and you're bringing them in to kind of read for any of the parts.
Yes,
and I think
that's the goal.
I think that's wonderful. So we're thank you for doing that. Thank you for dedicating yourselves to that.
Thank you for your help and partnering with us.
And thank you, Disney. Okay, first question.
Do you want to take the first one?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm going to skip that one.
I think it's kind of cool.
Okay, well, the first question, Tyler Berman said,
yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is the Ed Asner Family Center?
I kind of like that question. I like that question.
It's pretty darn awesome.
I don't think we should skip that.
No, but I think we've answered it. That was a quick one.
Okay.
Okay.
11.
11. There we go.
Good answer.
When reviewing potential talent to cast, and so this is for Disney, what are you looking for in real content? Is character variety more important than a particular delivery style?
I feel like Phil can jump in on this as well, but we on our team, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on reels. We are dealing mainly in actual auditions. The time that we really look at reels or review reels is when we've already hired you and we're looking to see what additional roles you might be able to cover. Right. So in that case, we're definitely looking for variety and looking for distinct voices, just to tell kind of what your range is. I feel like reels are much more helpful in the getting an agent department and communicating what you're capable of.
Exactly. I mean, I say that for the first 4 years of my voiceover career, I didn't have a reel.
Wow.
Because it's, as you said, it's not about just show me all the things you can do. It's really about, we have a role. Can you bring this particular role to life? Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people sort of don't understand about voiceover, is that we always have to audition. It doesn't matter if you've never worked before, or if you've been working for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
and also, Phil, I don't know if you know my friend Cree Summer. I grew up with her. We used to sing in a band together, and she always used to say to me, hey, you should do voiceovers. But she's a professional actress. And one of the things that she always said is, you have to be spontaneous. It's about being able to do the audition and being spontaneous and being, able to do the character. And, that was something that I would freeze up. I would just forget about it. So it really is about the audition rather than the real.
Well, that's why generally in voiceover, you don't have stars the way you have movie stars.
Right.
Like when somebody casts Tom Cruise in a movie, they want him to play Tom Cruise. Like right. Tom Cruise as a lawyer. It's like, be your Tom Cruise star in our picture. Whereas in voiceover, it's like, oh, you were really great in that one cartoon, but that was someone else's show. We need to know if you can play our character.
Got it.
So each time, Cree is a perfect example. She's someone with a very distinctive voice, but each time she creates a new character, a new version of herself.
Totally.
Because nobody in voiceover wants to hire you to do something you did for somebody else.
No, that's interesting because even my dad auditions. He everything he goes up for, he auditions for. And it's unlike the acting world. Although sometimes the stuff that he goes in for as an actor, he auditions for too, but it's less likely than a voiceover. Voiceover is always audition.
Yep.
So, okay. This is from John Anderberg.
Hey, I get the.
I'm sorry.
Sorry of my life.
I'm hoarding the questions.
Yeah, Sir talks a lot. Okay, this is from John Anderberg, and he asks, what advice would you give my high school theater students if they wanted to get started doing voiceovers? And I think, should we throw that to Jennifer?
Sure. Again, I think that Phil probably has some stuff to add too, but the main thing I would encourage is just building those acting foundations. Take advantage of whatever theater program or whatever theater education you have at school. Seek additional training out. I think, Phil would agree with me that comedy is so important to what we do in the animation world that if you can find improv classes, just work on those comedy chops, that'll help you tremendously. But really starting with that important foundation.
If I could add on to that as well, there's also really important is to research the cartoons that you like and sort of see what it is that they're doing that makes them entertaining for you and sort of take notes almost from your cartoons.
Yeah, what a horrible assignment. Go watch cartoons.
It's rough, but for the job.
Somebody's got to do it.
Right.
Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say Jennifer is exactly right. It's the thing that I've always told people who come up to me. It's like, how do you get started in voice acting? It's like, learn to act.
Yeah.
Because voice 100%. Acting, the term is kind of backwards because the acting comes first. The voice comes second. But if you say acting voice, people look at you funny.
Yeah. That's the greatest advice I've heard.
Real quick, I want to ask Spencer and Dominique, what do you guys love about voice acting?
Like when I'm doing acting itself, and you can be in a studio. That's so fun. Yeah. It's my first time being in a real life voice acting studio.
Nice. That's sweet, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Dominique?
In this, in front of a camera, you're just being you. You're just, people are actually seeing you. As into voice over acting, you get to make up these pretty amazing, crazy cartoons, and you get to voice them how you want to voice them, and it's an amazing experience.
Cool. Thank you. All right, the next question is for Phil LaMarr. Oh. And Phil, this is a really tough question. Really, really tough question. Uh-oh. Why do you think you work so much?
Well, I think you think I work so much because the internet doesn't put dates on things. People see the list of work and go, wow, look at all those jobs. Like if you divide them by 30 years, it's a little less impressive.
Well, they didn't leave a name. So, we could just say that I asked that. Okay. Next question.
The next question is from Chelsea. And she asks, perhaps maybe, what agencies are paving the way for voice actors on the autism spectrum? Ooh. Colleen, do you want to?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that we're all everyone is making strides and trying to do better. But I would say, like, particular shout out to Gail Williamson at KMR. She's sort of like an iconic figure for sort of taking these. I'm trying to rephrase this. Gail is amazing, and she is amazing at what she does, and she's really leading the way, I would think, in sort of advocating for those with autism and who are neurodiverse. She's sort of the one we've had wonderful interactions with, and also Ed Asner, I would say, is probably doing a fantastic job as well. I feel like there's a lot of people who are taking strides, and it's just slowly but surely.
And that's Spencer's agent. So they clapped when you mentioned Gail's name.
Yeah. I have Gail. We love Gail.
That was awesome.
She's a pioneer. She was the first, really. And she's been doing it a long, long time.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because Gail Ford Williamson is an agent in the business, in the
KMR Diversity.
KMR Diversity.
Branch.
She heads their diversity program.
Yes.
And her job as an agent is to get autistic and other actors with a disability jobs in the entertainment world.
I think she said that when she first started, I think her department made about $50,000 in a year, and last year it was over $3 million.
Wow!
So it's grown so much. I mean, it was when she started that department, it really wasn't a thing. People weren't calling her. Now she's the go-to person whenever there's a diversity role.
Wow!
Everybody comes to Gail.
I think she should hire you. Or actually, I think she should hire Colleen too. I don't know.
That's so fantastic that she's been ahead of the curve on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, such a trailblazer,
and is now seeing the benefit. Mm-hmm. Now that the rest of the business is starting to catch up to where she was.
That's right.
Because
she's a pioneer.
And Phil, she herself is a special needs parent.
Yeah.
So she has been, in it since his birth. Yes. And so she comes from a very unique perspective, like all of us.
And her son is one of her clients.
Yes. I think her first client.
That's right.
Yes. That's how she started everything. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, we do work with a ton of wonderful agents though, and they are all making great strides. It's just, Gail was first in the game, and she's also just a wonderful advocate for her clients, and just so knowledgeable about just everything, as far as I can tell.
That's key. I love that KMR has a diversity division.
Yeah.
I hope every agency, if they don't already, eventually will, because I've been doing professional acting since the late 80s, and to see the growth and the progress on so many fronts. There's a award in comic books called the Dwayne McDuffie Award for Diversity in Comics, which is named after a friend of mine who was a writer-producer in animation and cast me in a couple of shows before he passed away. And the motto on his diversity award is "From invisibility to inevitability."
Oh, wow.
I love that.
That's perfect.
That's great.
That's really
perfect.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Milo, can you get that question that you just had up there? So let's see. Caroline Clausen. Did your dad go through an audition for the Pixar movie Up, Matthew Asner? The answer to that question is no.
Oh, shocking.
That is the one part
request casting
that he did not go through an audition for. They actually went to see him.
Carl as him, right?
Well, yeah. They were envisioning this film Up, and they went to see him in a play about the Holocaust, which is not a very uplifting piece of work, but they heard his voice in that and immediately just said, that is Carl. Yeah. And so that was it. So they kind of took my dad and they took Spencer Tracy and they kind of molded them together. And that became Carl Friedrichsen. Interestingly enough, that was 2008, I believe. I think that was 2008. And he's like a couple of years older. And as he's gotten older, he actually becomes more and more like Carl Friedrichsen physically.
And he acts more and more like Carl.
So he's become the part for sure. So okay, you want to take the next one?
All right. What beyond talent do you feel one needs to book work and keep working?
That's a good one.
That's a hard one, but yes.
Phil, why don't we go to you with that one real quick?
Beyond talent, what do you think somebody needs to book work and keep on working?
Temperament is the second most important thing beyond talent. Because the truth is, in show business, you will always face some level of rejection. There are always going to be more parts you try out for than you get.
Right.
And if you, on an emotional level, don't like that or can't take the fact that they never call you to say no, they only call to say yes.
Yeah.
So all of those little things, it becomes very difficult to keep going because you audition more than you work. The work is fun. When you're working, I could do this forever for the rest of my life, every day. But it's the in-between times.
Yeah.
And that requires a self-confidence and enjoying it enough when you do work for that to carry you over to when, through the times when you're not. But that, to me, I would say that is the second most important thing is temperament, being able to support yourself or have a family or a group of friends that support you, through the lean times or just the boring times.
Great
answer.
This is for our actors. And it's actually, we've kind of touched on this, but I think we can go deeper into it. What in your life experience was most helpful to you in becoming a voice actor? Now, you just talked about temperament, so we can talk about that. Or is there something else that you can point out that was important to you in shaping you as a voice actor? So let's go to our other actors first and see if they can add. Dominique?
That was a tough one.
Let me put it another way. Why did you gravitate towards acting? What made you journey over to the acting world?
Wow, my great uncle, he was a huge performer. Marvin Gaye, he was like, and he did all that stuff. He acted and he sung, and I just wanted to give up to his talent, and I just wanted to be that person. Be like him.
Dominique, I think you just spilled your drink. But what's funny is, as soon as you said Marvin Gaye, everyone spilled their drink.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That sure is a reason to kind of go into that world, because what an incredible talent he was. What a shining example of talent for you.
And to see someone who shines so brightly and to have a personal connection to that someone and make that level of performance seem oh, I know someone who does that. I think for most of us, we see performances on a screen. And I mean, to answer your question, Matthew, where the thing in life, that's a tough one, because for a lot of us, I was one of 7 kids and nobody paid any attention to me. So I had to be loud and I became an actor. For me, it was my junior high was doing a production of a book that I loved. I was a bookworm. I was not a performer. I was the quietest person in my family. And I said, I want to be part of this book. And I auditioned for the play and wound up getting one of the leads. And that first moment on stage, having the energy of an audience sweep over you, just fried my brain in such a way that I could never go back to being a normal human.
Wow. What was the play, Phil?
It was The Phantom Toll Booth. I don't know if anyone has ever read that book, but it's wonderful.
Okay.
Awesome.
Spencer, do you have an answer for me?
I just love to act. Since I did my first school play, it was The Wizard of Oz. Oh. I was Dorothy Gale, right. the lead role of The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, cool.
It was so fun, and I also did Oliver, and also I did Shrek the Musical in school.
Wonderful.
And Aladdin.
So, like Phil, it was school. It was school theater. It's funny because Nava did not go into voiceover acting, but she actually comes from a tremendously talented.
I'm kind of like Dom.
Family.
I'm kind of like Dom.
Yeah, you guys are going to spill your drink again because Nava's uncle is none other than the voice of Milo Hewitt. You get that picture up.
It's actually my great uncle.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Nava's uncle is none other than Mel Blanc.
And it's so funny, Phil. I have to tell this. I have to tell this story, and I'm going to go really quick. That there was a very small period of my life where my kids went to a little tiny school with all these incredible voiceover actors, and I became very close to them. Maurice LaMarche, Tara Strong, Cree I had known before, E.G. Daly and Debbie Derryberry, and all these friends. We were just friends. And when I would mention Mel, they would literally spill their drink and say, well, he's our God. I mean, Maurice actually said, he's my God. And to me, growing up, Uncle Mel, it was actually his wife Estelle, who was our blood relation. But Uncle Mel was just Uncle Mel. And, we would go over to his house. He had a Bugs Bunny pool. He had a mosaic of the Bugs Bunny in his pool. But he was the sweetest, kindest, wonderful. I knew him as an old man already, and just a really sweet guy. But it is in the world of around us. Phil and I are friends with a lot of the same people. They really admire. I mean, he is their. For me, it's David Bowie. He is their David Bowie. Yeah. But you and I are a lot alike, Dom, because it's. We're related to the greats.
So, I look at Mel Blanc and I think probably, everyone wanted to call him Uncle Mel because he just kind of looks like Uncle Mel. Right. So, Marcy Booth has a question from Ryan Booth. And this is directed to everyone, really. So whoever wants to answer this, what would be the best way for someone who's trying to make it in the industry to get their name out there? That's a great question. Jennifer or Colleen, do you want to start?
Yeah, get their name out there. Obviously doing the work, doing the auditions, and, even if you don't land something the first or second time, just introducing yourself to those casting directors can kind of get you in their head, and, maybe they'll bring you back for roles in the future. Colleen, maybe you can talk a little bit about just online presence and how, we are looking at places like TikTok as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think as long as you're creating content that you enjoy, other people are going to see it. And I think that having an online presence is really important. I'll be honest, I definitely, when I'm on TikTok, I'll just go through and see someone. If I think they're funny, they stay in my head for a really long time. It's not like you haven't quoted your favorite TikTok with your friends. they stay in your head for a really long time. If you think that they're really funny and they have a great voice, it might be someone that your name is out there then. It's in our heads. And it's good to remember. So
I think for me, the message there is not that you need to be, TikTok famous or anything like that or have a huge following, but be making content that you're happy with, whether that's putting up a play or, doing an improv theater, that kind of thing, or, putting yourself online on TikTok and that kind of thing. Just doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
No better term.
Just getting yourself out there and getting in front of people. And the more you get yourself out there, the better.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
and I also think that acting is a metaphor for life, really, because it's all about self-confidence. Phil mentioned this earlier. It's all about self-confidence. It's all about having the confidence to put yourself on the line and experiment and put yourself out there, because that's what happens in life as well. You do that in every job, and I think the self-confidence is the key ingredient, I think, for everyone, is having the self-confidence to kind of push yourself into areas where you're not necessarily comfortable.
Well, Matthew, that's a really interesting point that you just touched on there, because the idea of being a performer is getting up in front of people, which is either the most wonderful thing in the world or the scariest, depending on where your brain is and where your self-confidence is. If you're confident and you stand up like, these people are mine. If you're not confident and all of these people are staring at you like, oh my God, everyone's looking at me.
Right.
But it's funny because I think there's some sort of mutation in the gene that makes an actor flip one way or the other, because there is something about being there in front of the audience that gives you strength, that triggers fun ideas, and that makes the audience want to watch you more.
Yeah.
But if you're not in that frame of mind, being in front of people is they say, what is that? That's some people's most frightening.
A lot of people, I would say.
Thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would say most people.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think also, Phil, because we're talking about the autistic community, some of our community are starting out with some pretty serious, wouldn't you say, challenges. A lot of my friends, autistic adults, just being in where we're seated, the lights are a trigger, and overstimulation. Sometimes when you put the headphones on, if you're in a voiceover booth. So I would say another great thing that I just wanted to add is just to continue trying, because each time, and I'm directing this at our friend Ryan, who was in our voiceover class. Each time you do this, each time you take a chance and you do something and push yourself a little bit out of your comfort level, you are going towards that goal of being a Phil, because Phil had to start somewhere too. And the only way that you can learn is with experience. Yeah. And some of our guys need extra help. And that's what we're so excited about, that Colleen and Jennifer are helping and accommodating our community.
Yeah.
I just want to remind people we're the Ed Talks. This is the Ed Talks. We're talking to Phil LaMarr and Jennifer Trujillo and Colleen O'Donnell from Disney and Dominique Brown and Spencer Hart. We're talking about the world of
And
voiceover.
Jill Hart.
And Jill Hart. Sorry, I didn't mean to forget you. And this is my co-founder.
Wow. You don't even remember my
Nava.
name.
I do remember.
Wow.
So this is an interesting question. I'm going to let Nava answer it.
Where?
Or now I'm going to let you ask it. Right there. Next page.
Has the pandemic changed the way that you do things as a voice actor or a voice actor casting person? That's, I'm sure.
That's a great question, because we're a year and a half into the pandemic, and
we're not out.
And we're not out.
We're definitely not out.
We're not out. So Jennifer and Colleen, let's start with casting. Has it changed the way you guys do casting or produce
Yeah,
shows?
I mean, it's definitely changed the recording process. Colleen can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a hybrid at this point in time. When the pandemic first started, everyone on the team was like really great about trying to adapt to the record from home situation, because we were doing that, I think, for the first 4 months, Jen, something along those lines.
Right.
Jen was amazing at getting everything, sort of getting all of our bearings for that, and all of the talent and the agents, and everyone was so incredibly helpful in sort of making it work, because we had to. But now we're back in studios partially. We're in a sort of hybrid situation, so those who maybe don't feel comfortable going into a studio, those who maybe aren't near a big studio that we can utilize, it's great because it's more accessibility now than it was earlier on. Because now if you have the equipment at home, no problem, just log on to your computer at 5 p.m. We'll see you there. We'll get some voices from you.
That's and as far as the casting side, obviously we haven't been able to. A big part of our jobs is to scout new talent, is to get out there, see things, introduce ourselves to new people. And going to the theater going to comedy shows was such a big part of that. That hasn't been happening as much in the past year, obviously. So we transitioned to, scouting talent online, going on social media to find new people, and working with organizations like this to, be introduced to folks that we should know. So that scouting has still been happening, just from my living room.
Phil, as a voice artist, has the pandemic changed the way you audition or work?
Actually, it has made almost no change in how we audition. Mm-hmm. The process of auditioning for most voice actors was from home prior to the pandemic. So you had to figure out a way to record yourself and email it to your agent. The recording process has changed, but even that change has been much less than my friends who do on-camera acting. And also because animation didn't stop really. When they sent all the animators home and said, okay, draw from home and then email it to us. So the cartoons kept going, and they did have to figure out, how to record everyone from home, because not everybody had a good setup or knew how to press the right button. I know how to make the voices, but I don't know how to record it. So it was definitely tricky at first. But now people seem to have gotten into a groove. And like you said, like Colleen said, part of it is from people recording from home. Part of it is people recording from studios. Although it was funny because I went into a studio for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I was the only one there. Everyone else was still on Zoom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're still, SAG guidelines are such that, like, for recording sessions, we really aren't supposed to have people in studio unless we've arranged for all sorts of any production personnel in studio, unless we've arranged for testing beforehand. And animation moves pretty fast as far as the recording schedule is concerned. So it would be pretty hard for us to test folks. But luckily, like, a lot of wonderful actors already had equipment. We sent equipment to folks that needed it as well. And yeah, we were able to transition.
But one of the positives I would think about COVID is, like, Colleen could see somebody amazing on TikTok, and even if they're in Baltimore, there's no change. You can be, really excited about somebody and be able to zoom them in and still utilize that person. So I think it's expanded the platform a little bit.
She mentioned accessibility, not just location accessibility, but folks that are not comfortable in a recording booth. We can make that happen for them now too. And it was a big hurdle. I don't know if Phil experienced this, but, like, folks had very good booths before the pandemic, and were fully capable of recording from home. It took studios a pandemic to get really comfortable recording people from home on a regular basis, because we had to. 2 years ago, Disney really wouldn't have recorded from someone's home booth. We just needed to kind of control everything and make sure we were going to get perfect audio. But we've really learned, and that in and of itself makes it just a much more accessible medium.
Let's go with that for a minute, because we're going to actually, there's another question that we want to ask too, but let's go with that for a second, because there's a question here. I have a son on the spectrum and would love to do voiceovers. What equipment does he need? What classes does he need to take, and how can he audition? Yeah. So let's go with equipment. And Phil, since you're doing that all the time, and you probably have a great setup, mm-hmm. let's start with you and give some suggestions on what equipment people need.
Well, I mean, first of all, I would say you start with what you need to get started, which is an audition setup. And you don't need thousands of dollars worth of equipment. What you do need is a good computer and internet access. You need a microphone that captures your voice well enough. Mm-hmm. You don't want to sound like you're on a phone, because then they can't really hear your voice and hear what you're doing as a performer. So, a good microphone, but not a crazy, big studio microphone with giant, equipment, and a room. Now, I'm lucky enough, I have an actual booth, but I have friends who, professional voice actors who are recording in their closets. Yeah. But it's got to be a closet with clothes in it.
I've seen a lot of people's coats in the past year.
Oh, yeah.
Because you need a room that, don't do it in the bathroom. You don't want echo. Because echo muddies up the sound. And again, they can't hear your performance. So if you can find a good room that's sort of dead, if you stand in the middle of that room and clap your hands and all you hear is your hands, that's a good room. If you hear it echo and bounce, not so much. And as far as classes, like Jennifer said earlier, an acting class, I think is more important, especially starting out. That'll teach you how to read a script, how to create a character, make choices that make the words on the page come to life. And so basically, what do we say? Microphone, computer, coats, and acting class.
And I'm sure that mom is happy to hear Phil say she doesn't have to bankrupt herself to get her son.
No, exactly. No, and
I've actually bought those microphones for Wolfie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they go from this to outrageous.
Just so you know, Ed Asner does his from the pantry.
Oh, nice.
So that's where he does his.
Nice. Boxes of pasta.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. It's a dampening effect.
Another reason to love pasta.
As if we needed
and it's the hot dog buns, I think. It's the hot dog. So Jennifer and Colleen, does an artist that wants to go out and audition, do they need an agent?
It's definitely helpful. But like I said, we're looking all over. We're not just reliant on talent agents to bring us talent. We really are out there scouting, working with organizations. So no, I think the most important thing is that you're performing and finding outlets and, continuing to educate yourself and just performing. and that's not to say that that'll be a quick, there's no kind of quick answer, I guess. But just working on your craft and, hopefully eventually you'll work up to getting an agent, but it's not necessarily the only pathway, I guess.
Great.
Awesome. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a really good question.
Scott.
Oh, okay. Somebody is actually written in to our live and has said, before I leave, here's a question that may be of interest. Are voiceover directors becoming more adaptive to understanding the most encouraging way to work with autistic actors? Do they let them perform their roles characters in a way that lets them be less self-conscious about their speech or habits and lets them concentrate more on creating an interesting character, especially if the character they are portraying may be special and different.
Certainly.
So giving those accommodations.
Yes. I mean, that's very important to us, making sure that we are accommodating all talent, and letting them bring their creativity to the roles. It's definitely still a very, very much a work in progress. But yes, is the short answer.
Yay.
And
that's the answer we want.
Yeah. And it's a learning experience for you all as well, right?
Yeah,
this is something that, very cool.
Thank you for that, Scott.
Let's see. That's a good one. You think that's good?
I'll let you have that one.
Really? Is that a good one?
Yeah, it's kind of
so
controversial.
This is an interesting question, and I really want everyone to answer this question because it is kind of controversial.
It is.
Because do you think voice actors should disclose their diagnosis when auditioning? That's an interesting question. So let's start with. I want to actually start with. Let's start with.
I would say with the casting.
Yeah, with Jennifer.
Sure. I would say it's entirely up to you. It's not necessary on our end. We will have roles that are specifically characters that are on the spectrum. If you happen to be able to authentically play that role, great. But that's not to prevent you from playing any neurotypical roles either. So it's really just preference on your side. If you feel comfortable, go for it. Or if you feel like you need other accommodations and you want to let us know ahead of time, please go ahead and do that so that we can be, able to do that. But really up to you.
Anyone else have an answer to that?
Well, it's interesting that you said that's a controversial question. I think it's less controversial than enormously complex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it speaks to...
Thanks for saving me, Phil.
No, it speaks to the fact that we're in a period of change, positive change, but it's still... There are people who remember the old ways of doing things, and there are people who are pushing for new ways of doing things, and a lot of people in between. It's funny, disclosing. I remember when I first began doing voiceover and we're talking about diversity. In that point, the idea was more, in terms of ethnic diversity, and it was a strange question for actors of color because, especially in voiceover, they might not know. But then there was the question of, okay, as an actor, if I am of Asian descent, do I make sure they know so that I am considered for a animated character that is Asian? And it was a very strange thing for me because when I got in, the vast majority of the roles were not characters of color. Right. But usually an actor of color would get in because there was one. And it was important in those cases because that might be the one time they were actually looking for. And, Jennifer, as you were saying, if a character is a character on the spectrum, that might be a time when, that's my chance to get my foot in the door. Yes, I'm qualified to play that role. Right. But then, of course, you wonder, well, will they consider me for the other roles? Mm-hmm. And the problem is, if you're working with Jennifer and someone who is open-minded and understands, then you're fine. But you don't know, is this person on the progressive end of the thought, or are they old-timey? It's like, no, we only cast actors on the spectrum to play characters on the spectrum.
It's true.
Well,
it's true.
I do want to mention, and maybe Colleen, you can jump into here too, but a lot of the industry took what's called the Ruderman Pledge last year, which, asks casting directors to specifically make sure that actors, who are neurodiverse and who have disabilities are reading for roles of all types, whether or not the character stipulates that or not. So a lot of at least the very big studios are making efforts in that way. So I do feel like people should feel safer in this day and age to disclose, things about themselves, whatever those may be, without fear of, discrimination. Because I think it's all positive. You bring you to the table and your uniqueness, and casting directors will notice that and want to keep you in the mix and keep you reading for things. So that's not to pressure you. It really is up to comfort level, but I do think it's hopefully maybe that's just optimism on my part, but I do think it's a little bit safer and more comfortable these days.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's optimistic. Well, it is optimistic, but I think the wonderful thing about acting and specifically about voice acting, because you are invisible. There is no body. There's a perceived body. It's not there really. And the wonderful thing about acting is, as a voiceover actor and any acting, you have a clean slate. You have a clean slate. You are not the person you are. You can make any person you want. And it's the only limit is your own imagination. And that's the beauty of acting. And when I see autistic individuals, that go into acting, I think it's a wonderful thing. And it opens their world up so that they can experiment and get out of their comfort zone and do something that they might find in their own personal lives just completely out of bounds for them. And so let's ask, I think that's a good segue. Let's ask Dominique and Spencer, have they done anything as actors that has taken them outside of their comfort zone specifically? So Dominique, have you, let's take Atypical as an example, maybe, and have you done anything working in Atypical that is, let's say, outside of your comfort zone, that has made you do something that you weren't necessarily?
That was really hard and pushed you to.
And you could also answer from a musical point of view, because you're an adventurous musician.
I don't know if I could answer that.
That's all right.
It's kind of an open-ended.
Well, it is an
question.
open-ended question. Yeah. And Spencer, how about you? I mean, is there something that you've done as an actress that has taken you outside of your comfort zone?
When I did the short film Sissy, I was like, the character, her name is Mary, and she has CP and bipolar, and we had to, and it took out a way out of my comfort zone because I had to be all angry, mad, and it's very intense. It's a very intense role to get.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know Spencer, being angry and mad is not necessarily, what she is.
Pushing you out of your
that
norm.
is pushing her out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
So were you proud of yourself?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm proud of you.
And we're excited to see it.
Because I was my authentic self.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. So that's the beauty of acting and of acting with your voice, because you have no body to limit you.
Superhero?
You have no body. That's
well, you don't have. So okay. So next question.
Where are we? Are we on 20?
Go ahead. That's a good one.
For Disney, how will you give people on the spectrum equal opportunity? And will you give them more time to prepare an audition? I think we've already answered that one. Really.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, everything you guys have told us today has been so incredible, and as a community, we're thanking you for giving not just a chance to our community and our actors in our community, but giving them that safe space, like you said, where they can feel like they can go in and really let their guard down and be, like Spencer said, their authentic self.
Yeah. I think the main effort for us has been just broadening our pool of talent. And that's been the main hurdle, because folks are woefully underrepresented as far as the agency side of things is concerned. So just realizing that we needed to be more proactive and get out there and find talent and make sure that they were given access to read for our stuff was kind of the big hurdle.
And I think the amazing thing is Matt and I are autistic. We have 3 autistic sons, and there is a natural kind of attraction to cartoons and voiceovers. And I'm not sure if it's because they're so into YouTube or the echolalia where they repeat everything and they script, but there are so many of our autistic community who are really drawn to this platform, and it's so exciting that they're able to have this opportunity.
Seat at the table.
Yeah.
And Phil, I know you go to a lot of conventions and you press the flesh with people all the time. Well, maybe not lately, but you have. You probably see the autistic community well represented among your fans.
Oh, definitely. And it's funny because we have family friends who are on the spectrum, and I know that some of them, if sometimes, especially as younger children, have trouble reading people's faces and all the small, subtle. And I realize that animated characters are simpler. Mm-hmm. And I always liken it to, if you spend the whole rest of your day trying to read code and all of this intricate stuff, and then you get a half an hour where things are clear and fun and simple. Like, how welcoming must that feel? And I don't, obviously I'm not a doctor and I've done no studies. So, but I've always,
you know what? You actually,
that's part of the appeal.
Well, you actually just, 100%. I think you just hit it on the head. Yeah. I mean, we all live in a coded world, and cartoon characters don't necessarily live in that coded world. Right. And you're right. It's all there for everyone to see, easy to digest, and that's really an important point. I just want to point out Ryan Booth, who actually is an actor who took classes here at the center, also voice classes here at the center. He wanted to make a point. And he wanted to say, that is exactly why I like the idea of voice acting. I can be someone different than who I am. Amen.
Well, I like who you are, Ryan.
I do too.
Yeah.
But I understand that.
But it's the different sides. I mean, that's why most of us enjoy acting, is because you get to either be yourself or some other kind of version of yourself. And with voice acting, it widens even more. Because, I mean, to me, the whole point of face acting or voice acting or whatever kind of acting is to take a story and bring it to life for the audience. And any actor, should be able to do that. But of course, when people are looking at you, they have a set of expectations based on what they are seeing. Right. But with voiceover, that half of it goes away. And it's just what you can make them feel, through what they're hearing. And of course, you have the artistry of the artists and the animators helping you build your characters. Like, yes, draw me with big muscles and 9 feet tall. And then I will add the voice.
I keep asking Steve, our producer, to put the big muscle lens on me. They never do. I don't know. But Joey Morelli wants to just say, Phil, that is one of the most profound things anyone has said about autism. 2 sons on the spectrum here. So, you hit on something there, Phil, and it's interesting. I mean, it's very true. Paul Obedencio, thank you for all your wonderful insights. So I want to just thank everyone for joining us today. This has been an incredibly informative time. I hope you all had fun from your living rooms or wherever you are joining us today. I want to say that the Ed Talks are provided free by the Ed Asner Family Center. The Ed Asner Family Center provides enrichments and mental health services to families, special needs individuals, and their families. And we're here for you. This is for you, and we offer this free for you to digest, and we operate off of your funds. So please donate. Please donate. What are you looking at there? Thank you, Matt and Nava. You're welcome. But thank you all.
Thank you
all
so much, Phil. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you,
Dom.
everyone.
Thank you.
Amazing Ed Talks. And next month, let's talk about next month.
Next month, we'll be hitting the entertainment world again with the it's the final season of Atypical, a show that has certainly pushed the boundaries for autistic actors and autistic life representation on screen. So we'll be talking with cast members and people that have been on the show. Maybe you guys can join us again.
Cool.
And until next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Dom.
And that's going to be August 10th at same time, bat time,
same bat channel.
You knew I was going to say that. Thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Everyone out there, thank you so much for attending the third Ed Talk, and please.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Disney, and thank you,
and
thank you everyone else who is highlighting diversity in the entertainment world and highlighting inclusion. It's so important, and I love hearing the discussion about bringing autistic actors in to play other parts. That is a wonderful, progressive discussion.
And I think people should go out and join a acting class, because I think that's what I
take
took from
classes.
This. That's what I was going to say when my peanut butter brain just went sideways. It was, we have camp running right now, by the way. So I'm in full camp mode. Brain. But take an acting class. Like Phil said, inspire yourself. Move out of your comfort zone.
Move out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
So until next time, this is the Ed Talk signing off. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.